Hello, and you are back in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. This is our 32nd episode, and today we'll be discussing the push to ban GTA 6 and academia doing cover up for genocide. So we're going to get right into the first topic, and that is Grand Theft Auto 6 finally is officially announced. The first trailer came out a good bit ago, and this is a game that's been highly anticipated for I'd say years at this point, close to a decade. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013, and there's been a slew of multiplayer content to push the microtransactions and shark cards on the people, but no single player content. And the last Rockstar game was Red Dead Redemption 2 that came out in 2018, about 5 years ago. So Rockstar hasn't really had any new content for a good long while. GTA 6 is now basically fully out of the bag after all these rampant leaks. The trailer that was revealed was leaked, I believe, and there were some gameplay leaks as well. That was a couple months to a year ago, I believe. Don't know the exact timeline on that, but there was gameplay leaks. So this game has been known to be in development. People have been talking about it. There's been rampant leaks, so that's why Rockstar came ahead and said, hey, this game's coming out. It's coming out in 2025. I do feel like they wanted to do this whole trailer and this first press run next December and then release it in holiday of 25. So between October and December of 25 is when I think GTA 6 will come out. They typically do the holiday release. That's typically when they release their games, and it's probably going to sell gangbusters. It's probably going to do really well. That is unless it gets banned. There has been a banned GTA 6 that's been trending because Rockstar is continuing their legacy of making a game that's controversial to people, that's getting people up in arms about it. So people are saying, well, kids are going to play it, so it needs to be banned, and gamers are all lazy freaks who can't be trusted to do anything, so GTA 6 needs to be banned, yada yada. So I do think it's a fun and interesting thing that this is happening, and Rockstar is definitely maintaining the legacy of being controversial and the redheaded, well, not necessarily a redheaded stepchild, but just definitely getting a lot of flack for doing the things that they do in terms of the Grand Theft Auto series, just it being a crime-riddled game that's extremely satirical and definitely pokes fun at modern society a lot, which is the whole, I'd say, point of Grand Theft Auto. And a lot of people are concerned that GTA 6 isn't going to be able to do that because it's going to be focused on shoveling in identity politics everywhere. And while that is a genuine concern, I'm just more, I wouldn't say concerned about it, because I really don't care. I'm not that interested in playing GTA 6, is that I just don't think this game is going to be that much worth engaging with, because it's just going to be a vehicle to get Grand Theft Auto Online 2, or whatever the hell they'll call it, so they can sell more shark cards and microtransactions to people, and that's where the development perspective is. So it's more about making money and getting people to be subscribers to Grand Theft Auto Online, rather than creating a really good single-player experience and expanding on that with DLC, which I don't think they've made DLC for a single-player game since like GTA 4. So that's been a good long while. So Rockstar really just makes these good single player experiences, and then they use those assets and that player base to shovel them into the online version where they sell microtransactions. And Red Dead 2s were really bad, and GTA 6 is I'm not sure, GTA 5, sorry, Grand Theft Auto Online, that version that people are still playing and engaging with, and a huge massive amount is definitely it's probably pretty predatory as well. And all the content that they're making for GTA 5, for Red Dead, it's just the multiplayer content, which just exists to get people to subscribe to it, to be engaging with the microtransactions. And I think that's fundamentally where their development perspective is at, considering they're owned by the huge monolith of Take-Two, and they've done very shady stuff, especially if you look into the whole thing with Borderlands, where there was some guy going and speculating on Borderlands. He sent out like a PI to his house, and that was done by Take-Two as well, because I think Gearbox is owned by Take-Two, or Gearbox's publisher is 2K, which is owned by Take-Two. But anyway, so Take-Two is not as unethical and shady and corporatist as any big corporation can get, and they're going to basically make GTA 6 a product rather than an experience that's worth engaging with. And that's my primary concern. And then secondary would be the fact that, okay, they're going to try and make this game not cancel material, which again is impossible to do with a Grand Theft Auto game and have it be good. So I don't inherently think, what they're going for, a Bonnie and Clyde type of story taking place in Vice City is the issue. The issue is, are they going to have the freedom to write a good story to really lampoon and satirize modern day coastal America, and are they going to be able to not have the game be focused on just getting you to buy microtransactions? And I think all those things are up in the air. I think a lot of those things are definitely going to be for the worse, because the gaming industry is in a pretty bad place, especially the AAA gaming industry. I did a past episode on that. I forget exactly which one, but I have talked about this before. But now we are going into the second topic, and that's academia doing cover-up for genocide. So you can check the video of this in the description below, but I believe it was a testimony in front of Congress from the president of UPenn and the president of Harvard, basically being asked if calls for genocide of Jewish people constitutes harassment and incitement to violence, or whatever the specific thing. You can watch a specific video, and these two academic leaders, presidents of their colleges, are saying, well, it depends on the context and it matters. So basically really skirting the question, refusing to say, well, we're against genocide from a policy perspective, we're not going to enforce it as a slight against a violation on their policy of harassment and such if they call for genocide, because they're completely sold out to their student base, which are just raging leftists that view the Israel-Hamas war as a white and black issue, an oppressor-oppressed issue. I've talked about this before on this podcast with Doc on Hump Day Potpourri, where it's a communist worldview where you view everything in terms of the oppressor and the oppressed, and you also have the racial thing where the Palestinians are, poor, impoverished minorities who are living in an open-air prison, and the Israeli, the IDF, are these evil white colonizers that are just taking their land and violating their rights. The reality is a lot more messier than that. The IDF and Hamas are both committing war crimes against each other, and the more you take sides and say that one side is either, Zionist pigs or terrorist sympathizers or whatever flag you decide to wave, is just going to justify committing more war crimes against each other. There's going to be more dead children. There's going to be more dead people in general. It's a very unfortunate situation. But the academics in this country, and basically all the legacy institutions refuse to go against this in any meaningful way. For a lot of reasons, and stuff like this is going to keep on happening because it's just leftist politics at work. It's all, you have to comply with the most ridiculous stuff or else you're going to be next up in the circular firing squad. It's a very unfortunate situation that you can't get clear-cut answers out of these people, but this is how leftists function, how basically any politician functions when they're being questioned in these sort of testimonials. So there's a long history of people going in front of Congress who are overt leftists or shady politicians like that, and they'll give you all these very well thought out non-answers. That is essentially what they did. And now I think the UPenn president today had released a video basically condemning the whole thing because they got in hot trouble. So you've got this conflict where you do have a lot of influential Jews who do not want this to be done, and you also have the fact that anti-Semitism is definitely on the progressive stack, so there is that fact as well. It's just how high you place it depends on, I guess, how you feel about Palestine, how you feel about the Jews, but it's definitely on the progressive stack. You can definitely use it to get moral capital from people, and the Jews are doing that in full force, and I do definitely think that what's happening in these college campuses and everywhere is way off the mark, and you need some de-escalation and saying, what they did was not that at all, and not enforcing, I guess, the harassment policies for people who are literally calling for genocide against the Jews and all these sorts of things. It's fundamentally ridiculous if you believe in the idea of microaggressions, right? So that's the thing there, is that we live in this society, especially with college campuses, where you have to walk on eggshells. You can't microaggress upon people. Racism is everywhere. Every day you have to worry about being genocided by the evil white man. But you have stuff like, death to all Jews and free Palestine from the land to the sea, and all these sorts of things that people are saying. Well, it just depends on the context. It's really just it just depends on the context. We're going to have to circle back on that if that's a meaningful call for genocide. It depends on if the individual feels harassed or not, or if they're directing it towards a specific individual or stuff like that. These basically ways to do non-answers and skirt around it, which is fundamentally ridiculous. They're being mean, they're harassing, they're trying to intimidate and get people, boxed out because, again, they view this as an oppressed lens, and then anything to free yourself from the boot of the oppressor is justified. And that's basically how it works. It's how it's always going to work. And when you're in that mindset, stuff like this happens. And we are in this society where the college campuses in this country are basically just adult daycares, and this is the end result of that mindset of education, for that mindset in higher education, that you get people like this who are leading the realms, who are going to refuse to discipline their own students and basically condemn them when they do dumb stuff like that. So if you were surprised by stuff like this, I would say you're definitely not paying attention, and I hope you do so in the future. And with that, I think we are going to leave it here. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we're going into the outro now. Thank you for being in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. Be sure to follow my Substack, velvetroompublishing.substack.com, to read Machine to Man and all my other projects.